The 1930s saw Germany gripped by economic despair and political instability. The Treaty of Versailles, signed after World War I, had burdened the nation with crippling reparations and territorial losses. This created a breeding ground for resentment and anger. Into this void stepped Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party, promising to restore Germany to its former glory. Hitler's ideology was built on a foundation of extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and racial purity. He skillfully manipulated the anxieties of the German people, blaming Jews, communists, and other minorities for their misfortunes. Through powerful propaganda and fiery speeches, the Nazis gradually gained popular support. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. He swiftly consolidated his power, dismantling democratic institutions and establishing a totalitarian state. The Nazis implemented discriminatory laws targeting Jews, stripping them of their citizenship, businesses, and basic rights. Synagogues were burned and Jewish communities terrorized. The world watched with growing concern as Hitler's regime became increasingly oppressive and militaristic. Few could have predicted the horrors that would soon unfold. The seeds of hatred and intolerance, however, had been sown. The world stood on the precipice of a dark and terrifying chapter in human history. With Europe on the brink of war, the Nazi regime escalated its persecution of Jews with terrifying speed and brutality. What began with discrimination and violence morphed into a systematic plan for annihilation. The invasion of Poland in 1939 marked the start of World War II and the horrifying implementation of the final solution, the Nazi plan to exterminate the Jews. Jews were forced into ghettos, overcrowded and deprived areas designed to isolate and dehumanize them. These were places of immense suffering, where starvation, disease and despair were rampant. Then came the death camps: Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, Sobibor and others. These were factories of death, designed for mass murder. Men, women and children were transported in cattle cars to these camps, stripped of their dignity, possessions, and identities. They were subjected to unimaginable cruelty, slave labor, medical experimentation, and systematic extermination in gas chambers. The Nazis' meticulous record-keeping, their cold, bureaucratic approach to mass murder, remains a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. Millions perished in the Holocaust, not just Jews, but also Roma, homosexuals, political dissidents, and anyone deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime. This genocide stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and the fragility of human civilization. Amidst the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust, stories of resilience, courage, and the will to survive emerged. Survivors offer invaluable first-hand accounts of the atrocities they endured, providing a harrowing glimpse into the depths of human suffering. Their testimonies serve as powerful reminders of the human cost of intolerance and the importance of preserving their stories for future generations. Elie Wiesel, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, wrote eloquently about his experiences in Auschwitz in his memoir, Night. His words capture the despair, the loss of faith, and the struggle to maintain hope in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Primo Levi, an Italian chemist and writer, detailed his experiences in Auschwitz in his book, If This Is a Man, providing a chillingly clinical account of the camp's dehumanizing effects. These voices and countless others serve as powerful testaments to the resilience of the human spirit. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, hope, courage, and the will to survive can flicker amidst the ashes. Their stories are not just accounts of suffering, but also powerful calls to action, urging us to confront hatred, intolerance, and injustice wherever they arise. Section 4. Liberation and its aftermath. A world scarred. As the tide of World War II turned, Allied forces began liberating Nazi concentration camps across Europe. The images that greeted them were horrific beyond imagination. Emaciated survivors, piles of corpses, and the undeniable evidence of unimaginable atrocities. The world was shocked by the scale and barbarity of the Holocaust. The liberation of the camps marked the end of the Nazi regime's reign of terror, but it was not the end of the survivors' suffering. Many emerged from the camps physically and emotionally scarred, forever haunted by their experiences. They faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives in a world that had been shattered. The aftermath of the Holocaust saw the Nuremberg trials, where Nazi leaders were held accountable for their crimes against humanity. These trials established the concept of crimes against humanity in international law, setting a precedent for holding perpetrators of genocide accountable for their actions. The international community grappled with the enormity of the crimes committed and the need to prevent such atrocities from ever happening again. Section 5, Remembering for the Future, Never Again. The Holocaust stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred, prejudice, and indifference. It is a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity and the fragility of civilization. Remembering the Holocaust is not just about honoring the memory of the victims, but also about learning from the past to create a better future. Holocaust education is essential to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. It is about teaching future generations about the dangers of intolerance, discrimination, and the dehumanization of others. It is about fostering empathy, understanding, and a commitment to standing up against injustice wherever it arises. Museums, memorials, and educational institutions play a vital role in preserving the memory of the Holocaust and ensuring that its lessons are not forgotten. The United Nations has designated January 27, the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, as International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day to commemorate the victims and reflect on the importance of preventing future genocides. Section 6. The Dangers of Distortion, Safeguarding History. In recent years, there has been a concerning rise in Holocaust denial and distortion. Some individuals and groups seek to minimize the Holocaust's significance, deny its historical accuracy, or even glorify the Nazi regime. These attempts to rewrite history are deeply offensive to survivors and dangerous to society as a whole. Holocaust denial and distortion are often rooted in anti-Semitism, conspiracy theories, and a desire to rehabilitate the Nazi ideology. It is crucial to combat these dangerous narratives with factual information, historical evidence, and the voices of survivors themselves. We must be vigilant in challenging Holocaust denial and distortion whenever and wherever it arises. Safeguarding the historical truth of the Holocaust is essential. It is about preserving the memory of the victims, honoring the survivors, and ensuring that future generations understand the horrors that can unfold when hatred and intolerance are allowed to flourish. It is a collective responsibility to confront Holocaust denial and distortion and to ensure that the lessons of the past are never forgotten.